Alright, Joe Fair, it's time to have some fun on this channel, and we're going to talk a bit about G.I. Joe today. So today, it's Flint from the Hilt. We're going to start with Flint's first action figure. Now, I know a lot of people probably have this figure. He was my first field commander as a kid. I always liked Flint better as the GI Joe leader anyway, so it just works for me. But I want to really get more to the newer Flint, the classified Flint here in a bit. But I want to go over a few things that I have. I have a lot of Flint action figures, but I have a few card examples like this one here. I like this one a lot because Flint and Mutt did that in the Revenge of Cobra movie where they both first appeared. So that was pretty cool. I always wanted to make a Mutt by using one of these bodies and a Mutt head, but I never got around to it. Classified came out, and well, that kind of took over that area. Another thing I wanted to talk about a bit was when he joined Tiger Force. A lot of people assume that Duke was the Tiger Force leader. Well, he's the Tiger Force first sergeant, and Flint is the Tiger Force leader. Now, the way I explain that is Flint's the officer and Duke is the senior NCO or sergeant on the team. Now, that takes us to the classified figure. Now, we'll start with the packaging. First of all, what is this shit? A snow cone maker? Ice cream scooper? I don't know. They don't need that. It's all over the box. It's here on the bottom. If I can ever figure this out. It's here on the bottom. It's on the bottom at the back. Why do we need it twice? Yeah, I understand that it's for kids and for legal purposes, probably. But to have it twice, parents are just going to throw that out. Collectors, I've got a stack of them that I probably should have thrown out, but I like to collect, so there I am. But I did dig this box art with Flint. The artwork is really good. Not so much on the side. That pictures, but it's cool. I like the style. But like I said, Flint he's not my favorite Joe, but he's my favorite leader. He's definitely in my top 10, which I may do a top 10 list. I have a list of top 10 Joes and Cobras that I prefer over and all the rest. But that takes us to the classified figure, and there he is. He's very well done. I dig the beret. I don't really care for the haircut, so I'm not taking his hat off. A lot of people feel that way. I like the gun sheath in the back for his shotgun. I like the fact that he can load up his shotgun and then snap it up here, if I can do it. Boom. Just like that. And that's Flint. Now, what sets Flint apart from all the other Joes and all the other Joe leaders is that, like Hawk, he's an officer, and most people, his first file card had him listed as an E6, which is a staff sergeant, which makes no sense because he's a warrant officer, so he should at least be WO1 or 2. Now, I've seen file cards where he's listed as WO2 and WO3, but that's not the function he played on the G.I. Joe team. Now, Flint, when he was in the comics, he was always like the leader they'd send out on certain missions that required an officer. Like when Zartan escaped from G.I. Joe headquarters in issue 51, it was Flint that went after him with a team of Joes, which was kind of cool. That was also Sergeant Slaughter's big moment in the comics, and they were both on that one. That was pretty cool. But Flint Flint gets a bad rap like Hawk in a lot of ways. And Hawk's training is old school, and Flint actually, most people assume that Flint's not one of the original 13, but he was in Larry Hama's original concept of Fury Force. I don't think he gets the love in the comics that he should get, although he is featured very prominently most of the time. It took Larry Hama 3 years to get the Baroness in there, even though she was in the first issue of G.I. Joe, so it doesn't surprise me that Flint didn't come out until 1985. A lot of Larry Hama's characters he's kind of put in there from his original concept out of Fury Force, and Flint's was probably featured in that artwork, so we knew that Flint was coming at some point. And when he showed up in Revenge of Cobra early, that was kind of cool too. Um, we like to we have our collection, and I actually can't wait for the Tiger Force Flint to come out, because if they don't, that'd be weird. But they have the Tiger Force Duke with the Ram already, and that's pretty cool. But like I said, I prefer Flint as the leader. And the way I always saw it was that in the comics he served as executive officer, and depending on your point of view, that makes him either the commanding officer or the second in command. In the cartoon, they laid it out where it was Hawk, Duke, Flint, Beachhead. Now the way I view that is Hawk was the overall commander. Duke was his senior NCO, or non-commissioned officer, his first sergeant. Flint was the next officer in charge. And then Beachhead was Flint's NCO. So that's the kind of way I see that. And in the cartoon, Flint kind of served in the role of captain. He had his own office. Whenever there was a problem, the Joes would go to Flint. They didn't go to Duke. They didn't go to Hawk. They didn't go to their sergeant. They went to Flint, which that's the chain of command. You go to your captain. And so Flint actually served as the G.I. Joe captain in the cartoon. Now in the comics, it's not as defined. I know Larry Hama has his own system of ranks that includes Scarlet and Stalker, and doesn't include Sergeant Slaughter, and I don't blame him. That was kind of a character that was kind of forced on him. But Sergeant Slaughter's really cool. I like Sergeant Slaughter. He's as a leader, he's pretty cool. I like the Marauders, and I didn't really care for the original Marauders figures, but I gotta admit, this Slaughter's Marauders barbecue looks pretty cool. I mean, not like the original. The original didn't look as good, but hopefully they'll do a lot better with them, like they've done with the Tiger Force. I mean, the Tiger Force bazooka, which I have, it looks really good, and I can't wait till the actual main release comes out. It's like Hood Cobra Commander pointed out, 788. This is the away jersey, so it'll be nice to actually have them both. I have both Outbacks as well. Outback looks really good as Tiger Force, and in his regular release, he looks really good. But getting back to Flint, he's always the one that's put in charge of special units. Originally, it was Tiger Force. Then it was the ill-fated Eco Warriors. I think the problem they had with the Eco Warriors is they didn't. They made them look ridiculous, and they didn't include Airtight. Airtight was the premier hostile environment. He was the toxic trooper. He's the one who handled all the toxic chemicals and ordnance and all that stuff that was hazardous. So he was the hazmat guy. That's what it is. And it's interesting that he appeared in the line right when Flint did. So Flint, the way I view Flint in the current era of G.I. Joe is that he's their captain. Duke is their first sergeant, For a time, he took over for Hawk when Hawk was still a colonel and learning to do all that behind the scenes stuff and office work as a general. And when he became a general, he went back to being the first sergeant. But for a time there, in that period, he was the acting major because they had to have a battalion officer in charge of GI Joe, and they put Duke in that position. But if you look at it, that he was technically Hawk's senior NCO, so that made him the acting commander. And he brought first thing that Duke did was bring in Flint along with his other buddy Roadblock. Now, those three guys are some of the coolest Joes. We already know that. Flint he fills that role that needs to be there, you know. Uh, and when Duke was down, and he was a lot in the cartoon at least, Flint was always there, and Flint was the leader. He was the go-to guy, and when he led missions, he was the commanding officer. And I thought that was cool about him. And you can't deny he had the coolest leader voice on the GI Joe cartoon. Bill Ratner did an excellent job of voicing Flint, and not to knock Michael Bell as Duke. He did a good job too. But Flint to me was my boy. He was the one who would come in and tell the troops, "Come on, boys, we're going home." So that's my take on Flint, and I hope you liked it. Thanks.